The Eyes on Design Lifetime Achievement Award is probably the most coveted prize for car designers. Unlike most auto design prizes, it is not adjudicated by design commentators, journalists or critics. Rather, the world's best car designers, all past winners of the award, are the judges. Winners include Marcello Gondini, former chief designer of Bertoni and of the Lamborghini Miura and Countach, and Bruno Sacco, the great Mercedes-Benz design classicist. We find Tom Gale, creator of so many daring 90s Chryslers including the Dodge Viper, and Peter Schreier, the most important German car designer of the past decade. It was Schreier who made Kias and Hyundais desirable. He transformed them from lumpy eyesores into stylish alternatives to European and Japanese cars. Chris Bangle's inclusion may be more controversial. He was once widely regarded as the antichrist of car couture as he flame-surfaced previously genteel and graceful BMW saloons. In retrospect, we see he modernized BMW design and is probably the most influential car designer of this century, pioneering the surface entertainment now common from Mitsubishi to Mercedes. The inclusion of Patrick Lecument, the visionary ex-Renault design director, is obvious. Other past winners include Giorgetto Giugiaro and the late Sergio Pininfarina. So when this elite group salutes you, it's fair to assume you know your E-types from your Allegros, and your Dinos, DSs and D-types from your PT Cruisers and Pontiac Aztecs. Only one Japanese designer has won the award, Nissan's Shiro Nakamura. Now when you look at the latest tangle of angle Lexus SUVs, over ornate new Hondas and fuzzily styled Toyotas, it is perhaps no surprise that Japanese winners are rare, although Mazda's design chief Ikuo Maeda is doing great work. I've always admired Nakamura. The likable 66-year-old is in many ways an old-school car designer, modest, gracious and good-mannered, invariably elegantly attired in fine suit and tie. He joined Nissan at the start of the Carlos Ghosn revolution almost 20 years ago and helped transform the company, becoming the most influential Japanese car designer. I wanted to elevate the role of design within Nissan and within Japanese car companies, he told me. Carlos Ghosn understood the importance of design. Shiro retired from Nissan at the end of March and will now have more time playing bass in his jazz band and making violins, a hobby. He'll get to play his cello more too. No doubt he'll also pick up some juicy design consultancies. I had dinner with Nakamura in Tokyo a few days after his retirement was announced. We dined with Patrick Lecument, who recommended Nakamura to Ghosn as the man who could revolutionize Nissan design. Now I don't pretend to like all recent Nissans. Rather, what I admire is the astonishing variety and boldness of these Shiro-era cars. Many have defined sectors and changed the car industry. They include the cartoonish but globally successful Juke. There's the influential cash cow that pioneered the modern mid-size crossover. We see big front-engine muscle cars, the wonderful GTR, and stylish sportsters such as the 350Z. This was Shiro's first Nissan and signal of the transformation to come. We see the strange but practical Cube, popular in Japan, and the Leaf, the first modern electric car from a mainstream car maker. The new Micra is one of the finest looking Supermanus. Plus we find some highly original concepts. I particularly like the Pivo 2 electric runabout. Its rotating cabin and 90-degree pivoting wheels gave unsurpassed urban maneuverability. Shiro loves London. When he searched for a location for his European design headquarters, he chose a former British rail maintenance depot in Paddington. Nissan remains the only major car company with a large London studio, the only auto company to benefit, day by day, from the cultural richness and stimulation of Western Europe's biggest, most vibrant and most diverse city. I looked at Germany, Italy, France and Spain, but there you get ideas that reflect German or Latin design. London gave me really international thinking. It can't be a coincidence that the two most successful Nissans of the past decade, the Qashqai and Juke, were both Paddington proposals.
Driving along 12.16 kilometers of rough gravel road in 6 minutes and 9.09 seconds is impressive. It means you'll have traveled an average of 118.6 kilometers per hour, and that's not low when the road underneath you is comprised of dirt and loose rocks. That's also impressive when about half of that gravel road is chiseled into the side of a mountain. What's even more impressive is that someone just did it 24 seconds faster. Subaru Rally Team USA driver Travis Pastrana has thrashed the Mount Washington Hill Climb route record with a time of 5 minutes and 44.7 seconds. That means he averaged 127 kilometers per hour. The 450 kilowatts rally spec car has the Subaru WRX STI Boxer 4, but tuned and boosted to reach the output which allowed this record-breaking run. As well as the onboard, Subaru USA recorded the run in 360 degrees, which you can watch below. If you're in bandwidth-poor Australia, it might pay to lower the quality so you can see things happening smoothly. Pastrana says he hopes his record will hold up for a while, though there's surely some madman out there willing to risk flinging themselves off a cliff in the name of motorsport. On our first run I leaned on the tires too much on the bottom half, which made the top half very loose and scary but really fun. I was sideways a lot but I'm sure I lost some time. Pastrana on the second run I conserved the tires and drove cleaner. I really didn't expect to drop the record further. This road is such a challenge, it's probably the toughest road to drive flat out in the world. The former record holder was Pastrana's teammate David Higgins, who would have had another attempt at the course had he not almost flung himself off the edge of the cliff. It was going really well up until it went really bad, he said. If you were going fast enough to win the event, you were going fast enough to crash. But there is no better person to lose my record to than Travis.
Some automakers have disclosed sales targets for electric cars and they are kind of all over the place. Most of them are for 2025 or later and target for 20 to 30% of their total business. When it comes to more short-term targets, they are rare, which makes a recent statement from a Nissan executive interesting. In reaction to France's announcement that they will ban gas and diesel-powered cars by 2040, Gareth Dunsmore, electric vehicle director for Nissan Europe, told Reuters this week that the company was aiming for electric car sales to represent 20% of its business in Europe by 2020. By 2020, where the market conditions are right, I'm confident we'll be selling up to 20% of our volume as zero-emissions vehicles, and this will only grow. It's particularly interesting since it's only 3 years from now and Nissan is a major player in Europe with over 600,000 deliveries per year in the market. Currently, its electric vehicle offering is limited to the Nissan Leaf and the ENV200 electric van, which represents less than 5% of its sales in Europe and can barely reach 30,000 units. In order to reach that goal, they would have to increase that to 150,000 electric cars per year in Europe alone. Maybe it's a show of confidence in the upcoming next-generation Nissan Leaf that is expected by the end of the year. The new vehicle with more range and features could boost sales of Nissan's first all-electric vehicle, which have peaked. But it would seem Nissan needs to increase its electric vehicle lineup in order to achieve this goal, and it's something that Nissan's new CEO hinted would come by the end of the decade. It's easy to see how it would be achievable with a total of 3 or 4 different electric cars in their lineup, even though it's a more aggressive goal than any other major legacy automaker.
Parting with your car is never easy, but if it was necessary to better the life of my child, hypothetical child, I would do it in a heartbeat. To no surprise, Jonathan Corbett of Camillus, New York feels the same way and has put his daughter in front of his love for Subarus. Corbett is the proud owner of a modified 2011 Subaru WRX STI and the father of a sweet and beautiful 5-year-old girl. Unfortunately, Corbett's daughter, Colleen, suffered brain damage during birth and has been suffering from the consequences ever since. Colleen got a blood infection during the birth as well as a subdural hematoma and endured 2 major seizures according to information obtained by the folks at Jalopnik. This brave little girl now has level 2 cerebral palsy, bilateral hearing loss and suffers from frequent seizures as a result of complications with her birth. In order to improve her quality of life, the Corbett family has coordinated with a clinic near Los Angeles for Colleen to undergo stem cell therapy. Unfortunately, the only way for this to become a reality is if Corbett is able to sell his 2011 Subaru WRX STI for approximately $20,000. Since the procedure cost $6,500 and Corbett still owes $12,000 on the car, he's hoping $20,000 will do the trick. The 2011 Subaru WRX STI currently has 88,500 on the odometer, but it appears Corbett has taken great care of the all-wheel drive Subi. Some of the modifications include a Cobb Access Sport, iBox sway bars, SPT exhaust, Cobb downpipes and much more. We truly hope someone steps up to the plate and drops a bag of cash at this guy's doorstep because we deserves it more than 99% of the people on Craigslist.